Hi guys, so today we're going to be watching a video which is explaining how voters feel about Andy Burnham in Makerfield, as we've got this important by-election coming up. So from Sky, Sky can be a bit biased at times or a bit lefty sometimes, but we'll have a watch this video, see what the voters are thinking ahead of this by-election. So yeah, let's get into it.
I did do
Yeah.
a protest vote, but
Yeah.
now that you're back on board.
Oh, really? Right.
Yeah,
that means
definitely.
everything. That's why I'm doing it.
Yeah,
I'm
definitely.
trying to get this party back to
Yeah.
where it solidly should have always been. Nice to see you.
So the first thing to note is that obviously Andy Burnham is quite a strong local candidate. He used to be an MP not too far from Makerfield. Almost 20 years ago, I think. I think he was last an MP in 20. I think he got elected in the early noughties, and he'd been an MP for a while. But yeah, no, he's popular. He's obviously the mayor of Greater Manchester. He's got a lot of influence around there. All the polls, though, are suggesting it's quite close between Reform and Labour. That's before you take Andy Burnham into effect. I think the betting markets have him about two-thirds of a chance that he'll win, but that's at the moment. Candidates are still being selected, but Andy Burnham is a strong candidate there. He resonates with a lot of people, and in the most recent local elections, Reform won 14 of the 15 wards, something like that. But I think Andy Burnham could switch a lot of these people that voted Reform back to Labour, but we'll have to see.
If he can win here, Andy Burnham could become Labour's saviour. The so-called King of the North has the backing of many in his party, even the deputy leader. But to return
This is obviously quite bad for Starmer, seeing his deputy leader out on the campaign trail like this, but they're all acting like they're friends at the moment.
to Westminster, it's not them he needs.
Yeah, definitely happy to vote for Andy Burnham. I think he's my worry is though that Reform are pretty strong around here. That's the thing with the council elections recently. There's a lot of Reform, so a bit worried, but he's got our vote.
You're going to be voting for someone who's not going to be here, who's got bigger issues than Ashley Makefield, really. So it won't be his priority.
Yeah, I mean, this is a great point. Burnham's only running so he can become Prime Minister. So if he runs and then doesn't become Prime Minister, it's almost like he's failed in that ambition. The people there are not stupid. They know he wants to be PM. So, like this gentleman says, he's not going to be spending much time there. So the only people this is good for are the people who think Burnham would be better than Starmer at leading the country, which is debatable. And I think in a lot of ways he could be worse than Starmer. As bad as Starmer is, I think Burnham could be worse in a lot of ways.
And that's what people are. I think that's what people are thinking. Certainly, what I'm thinking.
Andy Burnham seemed to be a fantastic candidate, and we really hope he wins.
Cheers, thanks very much.
Well, the Greater Manchester Mayor will hope his popularity counts in a contest that will be fought hard by Reform UK, also out on the doorsteps in Makerfield today.
All the parties are going very hard to make a field, but obviously it's only really Reform or Labour that can win this.
Burnham wins, the next step for him could be Labour leader, and fellow contender Wes Streeting set out part of his stall this weekend.
I think it's good to note as well that Streeting is very unpopular. He loses in every scenario against every candidate. Same goes for the rest of the candidates. The only person that can beat Starmer is Andy Burnham. I think even Angela Rayner probably beats Starmer at this point.
A pitch to rejoin the EU, one that will divide some in a party stuck on its direction.
I just think it's a bit odd, if I'm honest, because essentially if rejoining the EU is the answer to what we were just told loud and clear by the country, and parts of the country like mine where 25 out of 25 we lost 25 out of 25 wards, 24 of them to Reform. If rejoining the EU is the answer, then
I stand corrected. It wasn't 14 or 15, it's 25, as you said. But can you imagine being Lisa Nandy at this moment? She's not a particularly competent person, but she's standing there. She's being trolleyed out as one of the only people left who will defend Starmer. And I don't know what she's defending really, but she's making a good point about the EU. We had the referendum 10 years almost ago this year. So to bring it up, Burnham says he wants to rejoin. I think a lot of people want to rejoin, particularly in the Labour Party, but there's no point. Makerfield heavily voted for leave. This is a very white and a very Brexit constituency. So it's probably one of the best places Reform would have hoped that Burnham could have stood. And now that it's happening, it's going to be a tight race. I think that's definitely true.
Essentially what we're saying to people is life was fine in 2015, we just need to go back there.
It leaves the Remain backing Burnham with a Brexit dilemma, running for a seat that largely voted Leave.
I voted Leave when we had that vote, so for now, yeah, I would definitely stay out of it.
I think it was the worst decision we ever made. I think we can see the results of what happened. So for me, if they just put us back in, I'd be happy with that.
It was a massive mistake for the whole of the United.
I think most people probably want to keep the referendum as a result. I'd be yes, there are a lot of very vocal people that want to rejoin, but I don't think people want another referendum. I don't think people want there to be another election about this and the chaos that would cause joining again, especially when AI is becoming so prevalent. The reason I say that is because the EU is very bureaucratic and very regulating on this thing, and this is a technology we want to do well in, and we want to be a world leader at AI. So I don't think joining the EU is a good idea at this moment, and I think a lot of people probably agree with that. Outside of, a vocal minority.
Kingdom, and people don't seem to realise what a massive error it was.
So instead, he's been talking about renationalisation, while his political opponents say he's all talk and no plans.
He's only popular because he hasn't had to do anything. Politics is...
I think Andy Burnham clearly has made things in Manchester better. I've heard reports that he's prioritised inner Manchester compared to greater Manchester and the outer boroughs. But, I mean, undoubtedly he's done a good job. Otherwise he wouldn't be so popular. He's done great with public transport, and he's failed in other senses. But, he's the most popular politician in the country for a reason. So he is a big threat. I mean, I obviously don't like his policies and his opinions because he's a socialist. He's part of the Labour Party. So there's probably not much we agree on, but you can't doubt the fact that he is a very popular politician.
It's about making difficult decisions. As soon as he comes in and realises there's no money to throw about, he's going to become unpopular. Andy Burnham is talking about, increasing borrowing. That's going to hit everybody's mortgages. That's going to hit borrowing costs for this country. It's going to put billions on debt interest. We will be paying a Burnham premium. I do not think that that's going to make him popular at all.
That's a good point. I mean, he did say that we shouldn't be in hock to the bond markets, and anyone that knows anything about public finances or how this stuff is run, you sort of do need to care quite a lot about what the bond markets think. Yeah, we don't want to be tied to what they say and what they think, but financial markets are a pretty good judge of policies. So you can't just disregard bond markets or financial markets or whatever's going on in the trading world, because it's really a barometer on how well the government's fiscal policy is. And I think it would be a disaster. I don't think he would do a good job at it at all. I mean, he doesn't sound very financially responsible, and yet there is no real plan. It's just, let's change the leader in the hope that he does better. Let's roll the dice, but I don't think it's going to work out.
While there is no official challenge to Keir Starmer, the competition is clearly beginning. And inside number 10 is a Prime Minister weighing up his options, weakened by ministerial resignations and the growing number of backbenchers who are calling for him to quit. Tomorrow, though, Keir Starmer knows he has to wake up, block out the noise and carry on with the job. But a lot of attention over the next month won't be on Westminster, but the North West, ahead of an election seen as paramount to Labour's survival. Lucy McDade, Sky News.
Yeah, I mean, this is undoubtedly the biggest by-election in history. We're going to be picking if we have the next Prime Minister. And yes, as they mentioned, there's been no formal leadership challenge yet, which is quite surprising. We thought Wes Streeting would do that. He hasn't got the 81 MPs to back him, which is 20% of the PLP. But yeah, if Burnham wins, he will undoubtedly get the 20%, 81 signatures. And he will become the Prime Minister. So this is very important, which is why every party is throwing resources at this. It's really chaos. It's even worse than the Conservatives before. And Labour and Keir Starmer were, mocking them and saying that they've turned the country into a laughing stock and it's chaos. But now they're doing the exact same thing. So you really can't trust the Union Party. You really can't trust either of these parties because they're liars and they're incompetent. But yeah, who didn't know that? But thanks for watching, guys. And please like, subscribe, drop a comment below. Let me know your thoughts. And yeah, I'll see you in the next video. Thank you.